You're streaming this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, now with 3 board members on the committee, we have to live stream.
Oh, I see. What's the YouTube channel?
Sorry?
What's the name of the YouTube channel?
Zach is going to email that to this group. All right. Let me check my email to see if I've heard from Siri, Jean, or Maggie. And I have not.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, John.
Yep. Okay. I don't know what's going on with the video. It's not, maybe it's just.
Jonathan, reboot your computer. I've seen that happen before.
All right.
It's like the camera's
Actually, I had to turn my video on this time.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So,
All right. I'll be back in a second.
All right. So I'm looking at your YouTube channel and let's see here. Trying to see if we're on.
Hey, Lynn, this is Zach. Yeah, so we have 2 different YouTube channels. We have the official museum channel, and we also have one specifically for these types of meetings.
Oh,
So we have the link available on the website. It should be right there on the homepage. There's a calendar for this meeting that includes that link that you can go to watch this live.
you got it configured so that as soon as the Zoom meeting starts, it immediately streams.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
So you've got it configured so that as soon as the Zoom meeting starts, it automatically streams, or do you actually have to initiate it?
Yeah, you actually have to initiate it. So as the host, you're able to live stream on a YouTube channel. So once you start the meeting, you just click a few buttons and log into your channel, and it streams it automatically.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Or on another note, while I have Tom here, Tom, Missy Neff, I don't recall if you all had interacted at any one point. She was a board member when I first came to the museum, eventually became chair of the board, but stepped down when the governor at the time appointed her to the Tobacco Commission. She was just today appointed to be the director of legislation for Virginia.
Oh, who was it again? I'm sorry, I missed the name.
Missy Neff, N-E-F-F.
Okay.
So I'll send you some language and contact information. It might be appropriate for you to reach out with a quick congratulatory message, along with a brief description of the Waynesboro project.
Yeah, do that and I'll follow up.
Okay.
that could be good news, actually.
Do you know her, Faye?
I've heard of her, but I can't say I know her.
She was
Yeah,
with
I've heard her
Nature
name.
Conservancy, McGuire Woods. She was deputy secretary of natural resources for Tim Kaine.
Okay, I
yeah.
think I remember her back then when she was with Kane.
Yeah, she's very accomplished. This is just my wording, but like behind the scenes, person who really gets a lot done. And she was a very good board member as well.
Okay. So who else are we expecting, Joe, at this point? Do you know?
I had not heard anything about attendance or anything from Siri, Jean, and Maggie.
Well, shall we go ahead and get started with the budget updates? I know you sent out some information earlier this week, and which was, good information to have about kind of what we're looking at now. I guess it's a 2-step approach, funding wise.
Yes, and I'm going to ask Jonathan to kind of walk through where we're at least what we know. However, Zach, Maggie Van Huss has emailed me saying that Zoom will not let her in.
She may need a password like I did. That's the first time I've ever needed a password.
Yeah,
you might want to send that.
I sent it to her, but I'll resend it here.
Okay.
And see if that's enough for her.
Usually I just click in, and so I don't know what was with that.
As Len said, I guess Zoom had done some kind of upgrade or update to their
Oh,
system.
Requiring that.
So that might be, Glenn's thinking that it's required now.
What is on mine?
a password.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently Zoom is doing really well in the market. I wish I'd bought some stock.
Those and
Very
Well,
popular platform these days.
They were the least popular platform before all this happened, which is kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. They're getting a lot of use.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that they've kind of nudged out GoToMeeting and WebEx as a preferred option.
Yeah.
Zach,
GoToMeeting's been around a long time.
Zach, are we having any luck with Maggie?
They both just came in.
Oh,
Okay.
there she is.
There she is. I guess Jonathan's having trouble with his computer still.
Yeah, he's joining now. I'm not sure he's.
There he
Oh,
is.
there he is. Hey, there's Jonathan.
There's Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan. And we've lost Tom, or did he just
No,
go
Tom's still there.
online? Tom's still there?
I'm here. I'm just not showing my video. My internet speed isn't all that great from home.
Okay. Maggie, are you there? You're muted.
There she is.
There she is. Hi, Maggie.
Hello.
Right.
Now, I think we've got everybody at this point.
Yes, I've got no further communication.
Okay. All right. Well, if you want to carry on with the updates on the budget, that'd be great. Or John or Ryan, whoever's going to do that.
I think that's Jonathan's bailiwick. So
Jonathan, rather. Okay.
let us know what's going on budgetarily overall, and then what we know about detailed planning.
Okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Very good. All right. So going into the special session, things are looking good for the smaller institutions as far as just regular operating budget goes. Got word from my budget analyst that they're not planning to cut any small institution funding or take any O2 money. Everything was on the table at the beginning of the special session. That's kind of gone away as the governor introduced his proposed budget, and then the budget analyst pretty much backed that. Looking at Waynesboro, the language is still in the bill. So as long as in this special session we make it through, I did find out that our budget analyst and the department, the people who analyze capital projects, they have passed along estimated costs for the project to DGS. So that's further down the road than I had thought they had gone with the current situation as far as funding goes and so on. So having that in mind, if we remain in the budget through the special session, they can communicate to us that the project is officially approved once we get through this. So there's no, as my budget analyst will tell you, it's all up in the air until after this session ends. So once it's officially approved, I can reach out to DGS and get their estimates, which means that we can look at the cost for detailed planning.
So when you say they communicated the estimated cost, are you talking about the cost of the total project? You know, the 20+
Yes.
million?
Yeah, so they were, I mean, it was, I didn't know that it was all, guns firing type situation, but project had moved forward to the CO2 phase, which is the authorization to start the project. So it's just one of the forms with the state, but they would have pushed the CO2 to me. I would have signed it and said, hey, we agree with this budget, or which we would have to get things moving. And then they would have, DGS would have said, hey, this is how much you can spend on your detailed planning. And then we would have started looking for an architect.
Wow.
So RFQ. So what has come up because of this, though, a lot of the higher education, higher institution, higher ed, JMU is one of those, Virginia Tech, they have started pushing the state to let them go ahead and start detail planning with soft money. And I have reached out to our analyst, and she said, if you guys come up with enough to do schematic, or if you guys come up with enough to get started, we can look at it. So if the funding is there and we can find it in soft money, there are options on the table. I'm still waiting to hear that the project is official, and they'll vote on that when they vote on everything. And there's something like, sorry, Joe, go ahead.
Just so everyone's aware, detailed planning is an 18-month process. It's broken down into several phases. The first of which is what they call schematic design or something like that.
Yep.
And it's a 4 to 6 month process. So it's a minority of the costs, and we estimate somewhere in the order of $200,000. And I did quietly inquire some people who are experienced in such things, and they said it's totally feasible to hire a firm to do detailed planning, but to only be committed to part of the project until other funds become available.
Does that require a full RFP for the whole thing to engage an architect at that level?
Probably. I mean, I think what we would do is we wouldn't pick two different firms to do detailed planning. One firm would do the entire 18-month process, but if we do the first 4 to 6 month part of the work and then send it to Richmond to get approved, and we have to wait further time till we either raise more money or get money from the state to do the rest, then we would use the same architect.
So the RFP would then be soliciting bids for the entire design package with the knowledge that it would be handed out in pieces, and that any portion of it may not guarantee the rest of it, but it would come out in phases. But whoever the architect is that gets chosen would be the architect for the entire project as the funds are released, basically. Is that correct?
If we do get the jump on things with soft money or grant money or something, then we just have to include that in the language of the contract, that we have this amount of money to start. This is meant to get us through schematic design and approval from Richmond for the schematic design, and that the next phase, which is I forget the phrasing, I think it's literally called detailed design, would be pending the acquisition of appropriate funding.
So I'm sorry, Faye. So in a normal situation, they would approve the detailed planning money. It would be approximately 900,000, whatever that percentage is of the total.
Correct.
And they would fund that entire amount. Then we would go after, we would know that we were approved for whatever the state portion of our $21 million project is. Let's say it's 17 or 18, knowing that we got to go raise 2 to 3 million, but we could at least get started. So if we were to use some soft money for pieces of this planning process, once they eventually approve the whole $900,000, what happens to the monies? So if we only need 700 left, do we lose the other 200, or is that 200 get applied into the back end of the project?
I don't think we have a lot of precedence here, to be blunt. Jonathan, you have anything to add?
I think the 200 would come in. It'd be money that the state was going to give you anyway. They're not going to take it away. I think it would be applied to the back end of the project.
So it's not stipulated by any particular use. It just needs to be used in the project, but it can be used at any phase of the project.
Right. And even if we can get through all the detailed planning, we still have to get approved by the legislature to be in the capital pool. So we would do all this with soft money with hey, it might take another 2 years to find our way into the capital pool. So we're really, really focused on getting through the special session with the language still in the budget.
When you're talking about soft money, how much are we talking about? Part of the 200,000 for the detailed planning, or what are we looking at in terms of sources?
I think
where would that come from?
Detailed planning is the full 18-month process, running somewhere in the neighborhood of 900,000. We don't know what that is until after we're fully approved. The 200,000 would get us through the first 25%
design.
Yeah, it would get us through.
Yeah,
Because again, the 18-month process is subdivided into several distinctive tasks. And so to get through the first one, we're estimating somewhere in the neighborhood of 200,000. We do not have the information to get an exact number.
but my question is what, how much soft money and where would it come from?
It would all have to be raised. It could be grants, it could be donations. The state is not going to give it to us. If we looked at our O2, that is the revenues and monies that we carried over from last year. It's not going to be enough to draw on. So the museum just can't outright pay for it. We can look at the budget again, but I don't think that's a good idea operationally.
No, I
But
agree.
it could come out of the fund.
I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not suggesting that, we do. The other thing to consider is that if we're going for that's a pretty hefty sum. And if we go to some of our donors and supporters and they give us 200,000 now, even though we might get that back in some way, are they going to give again?
Right.
Even if we go 2 years down the line in a capital campaign, I'm not sure of that. I think we need to be really careful about that.
Yeah, I agree.
But as Jonathan said, I don't think we should be making a decision here. We need to see where the landscape is when they're finished with the special session. Do we have an approximate date on that, Jonathan? Is there a goal?
No, our budget analyst, I asked her in like 3 different ways to try to get her to let me know. And she she gives me the same canned response. This is unprecedented times. We don't know when they're going to come together on it. And even if they do introduce, it's that once they finalize both houses and all the committee hearings, it's the 6th Wednesday from the date that the committees approve it, that they can vote on it. So it's 6 weeks from whenever they finish talking about it.
Jonathan, I'm very disappointed. I think you should go down to Richmond, take her out for some martinis, and after about the 4th one, pop the question again.
Since we're on YouTube, say
that's what we do in business.
Yeah.
So, all right. So understanding the what was in the bill, right? It's $1.5 million for 12 projects. We're one of those 12, right? But we don't even know yet how that $1.5 million is going to get divvied out. Correct? There's no formula for that, right?
Before the governor it was $11 million for those projects. So I know that
at the full budget before the special session, right?
Right. So I know that DGS, I think it's their facility or something on Capitol Square is funded, and that's going to be the whole $1 million. So they have defunded the pre-planning for these projects. The only way that the institutions of higher education are doing it is they're going to their soft money side and saying, hey, the state is, we are still in the bill, which we don't know yet because we haven't finished the special session, but we are still in the bill and we'd like your help getting through this first stage.
So what you're saying, let me try to understand what you just said. So of the $1.5 million that's in the special session, one of those projects has been fully funded for $1 million. And so the other 11 projects got to share $500,000.
Well, the other projects are there's no funding for the other projects.
Us being one of them.
Right.
But what the hell good is that?
Oh, it's the most important thing is just having the language in there that the project is still a go.
Yeah, I get it, but there's no money at it. There's no money attached to it.
No, but that gives us the opportunity to maybe take O2 funds or funds we can raise to get started.
And what's the name of that other SOB agency that got fully funded? See, that's another trip to Richmond.
Yeah,
in a different way.
no, I think that's the actual Capitol building. I think is evidently the roof fell in on them, or they're talking about they didn't need to do it, and then the ceiling tiles literally fell out on them while they were talking about it. And they're like, all right, let's go ahead and do this. So. But now that everything's virtual, we don't even need a central.
We don't need a damn building.
Right. We do need a place to bring kids and educate them. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting because I had held out hope. The way I looked at it, $1.5 million, take our 900 out. The rest of them got 600,000 to split, but apparently the other agency got that.
Yeah.
So we got screwed.
So anything else we need to know about budget or any actions? We're just in a hold situation at this point. until the session's finished,
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
Okay. Well, let's move on then to the Wayne Theater Lecture Series. You're all set to go, Joe?
Yeah, we're starting to push it out. We've communicated with the Wayne Theater and so forth. So they're going to be advertising. We've started advertising. I've got a meeting with Zach right after this. We're going to talk further about advertising. So I will be there Tuesday, the 15th for a 7 p.m. lecture in person. Zach and the folks at the theater are coordinating. So that way it will be, I'll be a live event, but it will also be
Right,
Live stream.
distributed.
right,
Yeah.
cool,
Live stream. Yeah.
great,
And, related to that, we last week had a very well attended session of people up in Waynesboro talking about the project. So we are planning right now to come up with 2 or 3 shorter videos for promotion to kind of keep the project alive and in front of people, as well as one maybe 2 to 3 minute overall synopsis. So we had former Mayor Short, Mayor Bobby Henderson. We had Tom, Greg, Len,
Rick Kane.
Rick Kane as
Yeah,
a donor.
Maggie.
Supporter. Maggie was there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that about covers it.
Yeah.
But it was very well attended, so we
Good.
should be coming up with something to distribute in the next couple of weeks.
great. Well, I'm sorry I missed it, but I had to go to Highland County last week. I just had to do it.
Oh, son of a gun.
Okay, that sounds good. Everybody put the 15th on the calendar. Don't want to miss that. Anything new on the dinosaur drive-through project in October? Do we have a date for that?
I'm sorry, Faye. My computer froze up on me,
Okay.
so I missed what you said. But I
just wondered, the update on the dinosaur drive-through event, and do we have a date?
we are looking at October. Greg, do we have any suggested dates? The staff met about it yesterday, and we decided that a Saturday afternoon would be the most logical time to have it. So is there any Saturday that's better than any other?
So we have 2 events in October, the Apple Days Festival, which is the first weekend, which I think is the 3rd and 4th. That's held at the Willow Oak Shopping Center. So that would be one possibility. The second Saturday is the Street Arts Festival.
Is that still on?
That's still on. Fall Foliage is canceled, but Street Arts Festival is still on.
Okay. Yeah.
Majority of those events will be at the YMCA area. So either of those 2 weekends are potential tie-ins.
Yeah.
I
That'd be a
think that-
great tie-in, actually. Yeah.
Which one would be best, do you think?
I think the Street Arts Festival is liable to get more action, and if we're thinking about doing this in the Invista parking lot as opposed to Constitution Park, it's all in the same neighborhood, essentially.
Yeah. Right. So that would be the weekend of the 10th, right?
Right.
That sounds good.
I like it as well. I will just say that we might be a little short-staffed. Yeah, just the details. We did have a wedding reception booked before COVID was ever a thing. And so some of my staff have to be here. And these would be people who would normally be the ones directing traffic and so forth. But I think we'll be okay. I just want to make sure that that's out there. I just checked the calendar. It is the 10th, and I can go ahead and schedule.
Okay.
So Greg, where would we set up?
So we're thinking of we call it Invista parking lot. So it's behind the Ice House, the Apple Tower, where the other mural is. It's where the Southern Preserve will be.
So
So adjacent to the Greenway.
It's that big 5-sided parking lot, maybe 4-sided. I don't know, but it's an odd shape.
However many sides,
Right
yeah.
on the Greenway.
Right on the Greenway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we looked at that, and based upon the size of our parking lot, that should work very well. And
Okay.
the staff already come up with a plan. We're going to use StubHub to give away. We're not selling tickets, but we're going to give away time passes. We're going to have like a group A, B, and C, and each of those groups will be allowed to pass through the gate at a given time. So
Okay.
we'll probably be looking at Saturday afternoon. What is the plan time for the Street Park Festival?
So they're going to be doing activities all day, I think all weekend. I'll have Jennifer communicate with you that plan. I'm not sure it's come together yet either. So what we know, I'll get off to you.
Okay, we're good. We'll
Okay.
pull all that together and share details in the coming weeks with this group.
Okay.
Yeah, some of us should maybe be available to help out if you've got staff shortage issue. I'm certainly glad to help. I can direct cars.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if anybody else can do that or just be a greeter or whatever.
I've asked.
I can plan to be there.
Thank you. I asked Len to go get some ground level photographs of that lot for us. I think it's completely fenced in except for the entry and exit areas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Greg's saying he thinks so, and if that's so, this should not be much of a challenge at all.
It's got open access to the greenway, but as far as vehicular traffic, it is kind of one way in and one way out.
Yeah, you might have some foot traffic on the greenway, and I don't know how you clarify to people that are there that this is a reserved event or something, and they don't just start walking through it.
What we might do, we've already discussed that as far as people who are capable of presenting, people who are knowledgeable about the materials we'll bring, that we want to have extras this time to give people breaks and to switch off and so forth. So the people who are not actually manning a table, we might actually be able to make lemonade from the lemons simply by interacting with the people on the trail at a distance.
Mhm.
So we've talked about that too, that there's a possibility of ingress from pedestrian traffic. So we'll try to take advantage of that as best we can.
And the time would be afternoon. Is that what you're thinking?
Something like 12 to 5 or 1 to 5, something like that. Now that we know the date and everything, we'll nail that down.
Okay. All righty. Next on the agenda is the discussions and engagement of stakeholders. I think we were talking about setting up some Zoom meetings. I'll pass along that I did speak with Sandy Green, and she's very excited about being involved with that, with the group having to do with family exhibits.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That area. So just so you know, she's ready to roll whenever.
Good. Well, I put down on the agenda 2 proposed dates.
Right.
I just chose Tuesday early evenings. For no other reason, it just seemed to fit the calendar, but I'm leaving it open. If somebody strategically thinks that another day of the week is better or a better time, I'm suggesting to schedule 5:30 to 7. And that would involve some presentations, sharing of screen to show some of the images, and then in that particular group, dive down to the experiences for, say, the pre-K through 5 audience that we'll be serving. So I personally, for my calendar, would pick October 6th. But if anybody sees an advantage in either September 29th or another date.
So is this going to be one group with, on a particular topic? So this would be the first of a number of Zoom meetings, right? So this will be testing the waters. Okay. So you'd like, you prefer the 6th.
That's what I'm really hoping here. I mean, these are going to be educators, so they're well versed, I think, at this point in Zoom meetings and understand the challenges. So I think they'll be a friendly group. It's also an enthusiastic group, and I think we can hone our techniques and see what works and what doesn't with them, and still get a lot out of it. So we had, I don't have it in front of me, but we've already created that rather extensive list of people who would benefit us by participating. We're going to put out whatever it's going to be, 25 invitations. You know, we might get 6 or a dozen RSVP positively. If it's a lower number, there's no reason that we can't host it again on another night and give folks who didn't have a chance the first time another opportunity to participate if they like.
Sounds good.
Okay, then I will go ahead and schedule that. And I'll send out the list of invitees so everyone knows who we'll be reaching out to.
Okay. That sounds great. Gosh, we've blown through this agenda. Any other topics to discuss or comments today?
Just one thing I noticed on the calendar, Joe, and I think you still have it on yours, is the South River Watershed Summit that's coming up on October 2nd, which is the Friday.
Yes, it is
And
on my
that's
calendar.
working with Dave Hirschman, right?
Yep.
Okay, so, I mean, that's another opportunity to engage the community in this project.
That's be in Waynesboro?
Yes, at the Embrace Waynesboro Community Center is what I have. I haven't heard anything updating that.
Where is the Embrace Waynesboro Community Center?
I think it's over by Rosenwald. Is that right? Do you know, Greg? I'm not sure.
I don't, but that sounds right.
I know that they were present when we had that diversity day there at the Rosenwald Center. And so maybe that's why I'm making the connection.
What do you think, Maggie?
I was thinking that it was over there by Wayne Hills Preschool Center in that church that is across the street. It was some kind of Baptist church. I thought they took that building over, and the field that's, I guess it's kind of behind it or beside it, is where they were having their community garden. Now, I could be wrong about that location, but I really thought that was it.
You probably have more about that than I do. I only know that the South River Science team was looking for a place and they landed on Embrace Waynesboro through Liliana Penalver, the Promotoris.
It's 932 Fur Street, so it's in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, that's where it is then. It's across the street from the Wayne Hills Pre-K Center.
So Tom, are you in touch with David Hirschman about that event? Or
I have been. I haven't heard from him in probably a couple of months, but let me make a note to myself to touch base and see if there's any updates, and I can certainly send those out to this group.
Okay, that would be good if we could somehow affiliate with that summit, I would think.
Yeah, this is all driven by the desire on, I believe it's DuPont's part, to kind of rethink the South River Science team now that a lot of the restoration work and stuff is being done, rehab work is being done, and create a new direction for them, and maybe create a watershed organization is their thinking. And so they're trying to bring a lot of voices to the table. And I just thought, when I heard that, I thought, boy, the museum needs to be there. So I put Joe in touch with Dave Hirschman.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Anything else today?
I would only mention that I noticed recently that Augusta Health has launched another fundraising campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know what their goal is. Do we know how much they're trying to raise?
I can't remember. I got a little announcement about it, but I don't remember what the goal
Maggie,
is.
do you know how much the goal is, or Greg? No. So as we consider, assuming we get through the next hurdle and we got a, green light to go chase money, we probably need to keep that in the back of our minds as we go out into the community. Nothing worse than competing with somebody.
Especially a hospital.
Yeah. I still, I'll be, well, I won't say it. We're being broadcasted. I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, you be careful, Len.
Never mind. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. Joe?
Yeah, I don't have anything ready to report, but I did hear back from the Waynesboro Public Library today. So I right before this meeting, an email came in. So I'm going to review that, and I'll give everyone an email update on where we're going with putting an exhibit in the Waynesboro Public Library. We'll use that as a to test that water and of course, we want to look at the Augusta County Library as well.
Great. Sounds good.
I have
Tom.
one other thing.
Yep.
So Carol Nash at our board meeting in August expressed an interest in participating in this committee. And those of us that know her, she's a faculty member up at JMU, has done a lot of work. You know, she actually gave a presentation as part of the Wayne Theater series on her work on indigenous peoples in the Shenandoah Valley. And so she's expressed an interest. She's long been, you know, aware of what we're doing. And so I reached out to Faye after that meeting and said, would it be okay to add Carol to this committee? And Faye agreed. So I think at our next meeting, we'll make sure we include Carol in the communications.
Yeah.
And I'll be sending out an updated list of committee members.
Well, she was
Those of us that are
also,
interested.
yeah, she was also especially interested in the discussions with educators about exhibit design. And so she'd be great to have on the committee as well, but I know she wants to be engaged. And Joe, I assume she'll be on your list for that first Zoom session. Good. Okay, great. Thanks for bringing that up, Tom. I'd forgotten
Sure.
about our discussion. All right, anything else?
Joe or Jonathan, could you send me something on the drive-in dinosaur? Because we'll need to communicate with our Parks Department and everything else about that. So if you have something already written up, and make it easier for us.
Yeah, I think we've got a document from when we ran it here. We'll just doctor that to make it appropriate for.
Okay. Great, thanks.
Good. All right. Anything else? Last call.
Oh, it's good stuff.
So we're gonna plan to meet the first week in October, first Tuesday of October. Then I don't know what that is, but unless I'm sure we'll have hopefully a follow up on the budget this special session by then.
Hopefully, and that's October 6th.
October 6th. Okay. If y'all can mark your calendars.
So quick question on that though. So what would prevent us from start thinking about chasing soft money? What would prevent us from doing that? The project not being officially approved? Is that correct?
If they mark through our language in the budget, then yeah.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with preparing. I mean, we can.
Oh, right. We can talk about it.
We can dust off the capital campaign plan and create a miniature campaign. Relatively speaking, you know, I'm not trying to downplay the amount we're looking for, but it would also be helpful, and it will be helpful when we have a better idea as to what the total amount for at least the first phase of detailed planning will cost. So we'll try to nail that down, however that's going to look.
And there really isn't anything to prevent us other than, again, it not being approved from actually developing the RFP. That's going to take several months anyway. So we might as well get started on that, I guess, just to get kind of it moving along, right?
Well, how about you and I mean, this is a board level decision, a committee level decision, but I'm just suggesting that maybe Len and I can start a conversation as to what that might look like to put together a skeleton of a plan and share it with this committee.
Sure.
That's fine with me. Works for me.
Sure.
Okay. Jonathan?
If I could, we need to start with an RFQ. Just, you guys
That's
know,
right, yeah.
right? Just for the architect.
So we can at least draft make the first draft of the RFQ. And then Joe, we can talk about, you know, a strict strategy. You know, my gut feeling, just my instant reaction is that for the kind of money we're talking about, 200,000, it's probably better suited to a very highly focused, quiet phase type of approach, you know, to try to, so that we're not, you know, the concern you made earlier about, you know, people giving now versus later. I think we want to look at the people that have the capacity to give serious money, that so we don't impact all the other people we're going to be chasing all kinds of levels at, you know. So that's just my gut reaction thinking about it.
Okay, let's follow up on that, and we can put together the RFQ, a fundraising plan should we submit the RFQ, and we'll share it with the committee.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right.
All
We
right.
all good? Ready for adjournment?
Yes, we are.
All right. Y'all have a good afternoon. Thanks.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks to
Bye.
all. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.